Good afternoon, everybody. This is a quick revision for the assessment that will happen on Sunday. I wanted to do a video that will help you to understand anything that might be unclear for you. And inshallah, it will be clear after watching this video regarding the lessons in the assessment. So I'll start with the first lesson. We have 5 lessons. We have fractions, decimals, we have comparing, we have adding, we have shapes, lines, rays, and angles. We spoke about this a lot of times. So this is going to be a kind of summary to whatever we studied. I'll start the first lesson, which is talking about fractions and decimals. And a lot of times when we talk about fractions, we're going to have to talk about decimals because there is a relationship between fractions and decimals. So what I would like you to, the objective is to be able to understand how we can go from decimals to fractions and the vice versa. So let me start by showing you this. Okay, so this is a model. In mathematics, we use models to represent decimals and the fractions. So if someone asks you, this is a model. Now from the model, how can I get the fraction or the decimal? Basically, as have we spoken a lot before, the fraction that represents this model is going to be 3 over 10. And the reason of that is because the shaded columns are 3 and the all columns are 10. Okay, so the basically the numerator that we use here, this is the numerator and this is our denominator. So the numerator will be the shaded ones, and the denominator will be obviously all the columns. Okay, so this is basically the basic idea of how we can connect between the models and the fractions. Now, this is the fraction that represents this a model. Now, how can I go into a decimal number? Basically, all I'll do is this is going to be the same as 0.3. Okay. So when it comes to the decimal numbers, obviously we know what's a decimal number. Um, a decimal number consists of 2 parts. It consists of the whole number part and it consists of the fraction part. Now, whenever you have any here number with 10, okay, the answer will be, because we have here 0, 10, 1, 0, then we're going to end up with 1 digit on the right. So we're going to end up with 0.3. Yeah. So imagine if I had 9 over 10. 9 over 10. This is going to be, if I want to write it in decimal numbers, it will be equal to 0.9. Okay. So this is kind of a basic idea of the decimal numbers. Now, what if we go a little bit higher? What if I said I have 21 over 100? Okay, so sometimes our fractions are going to be with denominators of 100, sometimes of 10. Okay, so what if it's with 100? Then in this case, it is going to be obviously 0 is going to be equal to 0.21. Okay, so this is the basic idea of fractions and decimals. Now, sometimes we have cases like this. We have, let's say we have 12 over 12 over 10. Okay. Basically, what is going to happen here is because I have 10, 1, 0, it means that I'll have only one digit on the right. But because I have here also 1, then it's going to be instead of 0.2, it's going to be 1.2. Okay, equal to 1.2. So this is how we can go from fractions to decimals and vice versa. Okay, one last thing. For example, let's say we have, I'll do two questions. Let's say that I have 0.95. This is a decimal number. And in case I want to do it in a fraction part, then this is going to be equal to 95 over 100. And why did I say 100? It's because we have 2 digits on the right of the decimal number, okay? Now, if I had stuff like this, if I had a number like this, let's say 541 divided by 100, okay? It is the same thing. It is the same idea. Because we have 100, which is 2 zeros, then we're going to end up with 2 zeros with 2 digits on the right. So I have 0.41, but because I have here 5, then it will not be 0.41, it will be 5.41. Okay? So this is the idea of the first lesson. That is, it's not more than this. All we have to do is to recognize the fractions and the decimals and how we can go from fractions to decimals and vice versa. Okay? So going back to our lessons here, this is the idea of the first lesson. Now let's go to the second lesson, which is how can we compare decimal numbers? And I'll show you next now how we can do that. So this is how we compare decimal numbers. Obviously, whenever we compare decimal numbers, one thing we have to make sure, we always start from the left, okay? Now, if you see number like this, what you would do, you would start from the left. So on the left here, on the left of I have the point here, my points. On the left, I have 9 and 9. Nothing is bigger than the other, so I'll go next. Next, I have 6 and I have 5. And since 6 is greater than 5, then my answer will be that this number is greater than this number, okay? Now, if you have, next one, you have 2.2 and 2.20. Now, one thing we have mentioned in math, the 0 on the right doesn't count. So we can actually remove it, or we can add a 0, because 0 on the right, they mean nothing. Whether you add them or you remove them, they mean nothing. So I can add a 0 here, or I can remove this one and it's going to be equal. Okay. Next one, I have 1.33 and I have 1.34. So starting from the left, I have 1 and 1. They are the same. I'll go to the right. I have 3 and 3. Also, they are the same. I'll go to the right. I have 3 and 4. Obviously, 4 is greater than 3. So I'm going to do this one. Okay. The last one, I have 8.11 and 1.88. Starting from the left, I have 8 and 1. Obviously, 8 is greater than 1. Okay. So this is basically an idea about comparing decimal numbers. It is not going to be kind of more harder than this. Sometimes you get to see questions like this. Sometimes, and this even in the worksheet, we had a question where we said 81.1, and we had also here 8.11. Now, some students got confused in this, okay? Because they said, Mr., I'm starting from the left. I have 8, 8, 1, 1, 1. Yes, but the thing that you have to be aware of is that this is 81.1 and this is 8. This is the whole number part. So you read the number like this is how we read it. We have 81.1 and we have 8.11. Obviously, 81 is greater than 8. So the answer will be, okay. This is, I hope, going to clarify for you everything you need to know. Okay. Now going to the next lesson we have. So basically, when we want to add, and basically when we want to add a fractions that has denominators of 10 and 100, the first thing we have to make sure of is that we have to make sure that all the denominators are the same. Now, we have two ways, but I'll teach you the easier way because the other way might be confusing to some people, okay? So, what you need to know, just look at the denominators, okay? So what you need to know, you need to look and see. Here I have 100, here I have 10. I have to make sure that they're both 100. So how can I make sure that this is 102? I should multiply it by 10, okay? So multiply it by 10 it means that I have also to multiply 1 by 10. So I'll end up having 100 in the bottom and having 10 on the top. Okay, now just adding them now. Okay, so we're gonna have 30 plus 10, which is going to be 40. 100 is going to stay the same. Don't forget, guys, the denominator, whenever we add fractions, do not change. You should always pay attention to that, okay? That is the first one. Now, second one is same process, okay? So here I have 10 and here I have 100. Now, what I need to do, I need to make sure that they're both 100. So I'm going to multiply this one by 10 and this one by 10. So I'll have here 100. Okay, and here I'll have 10. Okay, now adding them is going to allow us to have the following. Okay, 10 plus 2 is going to be 12, and 100 is going to stay the same. Okay, that is this one. Now, regarding the last one, I have 3, 4, 5, and I have 10, 10, 100. So what I need to do, I need to make sure that all the denominators are the same. So I have 10, and I have 10, 10. So I have to make this one 100 and this one 100. So multiplying by 10 here is going to be 100. And multiplying 4 by 10 is going to be 40. Okay, multiplying here is going to give us by 10, 100. And multiplying here by 10 is going to give us 30. Okay, then all I'm going to have to do is just to add all the numbers together. So I have now 100 means 100. And 30 plus 40 plus 5 is going to be 75. Okay, this is basically the idea of adding fractions that has denominators of 10 and 100. Now, if this is clear for you, obviously you've completed half of the assessment revision, and we only have around 2 lessons left to be able to have a full understanding for all the lessons. Moving on to the lesson of shapes, rays, lines, we have to just make sure that we know these things. Whatever I'm showing you is whatever you need to know, okay? Now, a point is something that is just so clear and obvious to us. A point is just a point. And sometimes when we have a letter here, for example, let's say I put Z here, then we call it point. This is how we read it. We read it point Z. Okay, now array, when it comes to array has only one endpoint. Okay, this one here, that here, we call it endpoint. Okay, so array always looks like this and has only one endpoint. Now a line, as you can see here, a line has no endpoints. Okay, a line has just arrows. Now a line segment has two endpoints. Okay, so a point is just a point. Array looks like this, that has only one endpoint. A line has no endpoints. A line segment has two endpoints. This is how they look like. And how do you read them? It depends on the letters. So if I have here, for example, if I have here A, and here I have B, then I call this, we read it as ray AB. Okay. Now, if I have here, for example, let's say C, and here we have D, okay? And sometimes we put small points for you like this. These are not endpoints. These are just to help you to clarify the name. Okay, so so we call this line CD. Okay, and the last one, it's a line segment. A line segment has always two endpoints. It has no arrows at either side. Okay, so this is, we can, let's say here M, and here we have N. So this one we call it line segment MN. Okay, this is what you need to know. I hope it can clarify for you whatever we studied. Now coming to the angles, I have four types of angles. I have right angle. This one we call it right angle. Okay, right angle is exactly 90. Okay, acute angle is less than 90. Obtuse angle is more than 90. Straight angle is exactly 180. Okay, so whenever we're given any angle, okay, right angle always have this. Sometimes we write this equation, sometimes we don't, but they are perpendicular lines. Okay, so right angle always have the right angle. Yes, the right angle have the angle 90. We call it right angle. Acute angle is an angle that is less than 90. It can be 50, 40, 70, 85. Any angle that is less than 90, it is going to be acute angle. Now, obtuse angle obviously is an angle that is more than 90. It is exceeding 90. Okay, and a straight angle is exactly 180. Sometimes when we read them, we put small points here. Okay, so here imagine that I have the letters A, B, and C. Okay, so this is, I read it as the follows. I say this is going to be, okay, we have to do this a small line. This is going to be, we do like this, and then like this. This sign, it means that we are identifying an angle. So this is angle ABC. Okay, so if I had, for example, LJK, then I'll have here LJK, MNO, MNO. This applies to all the angles. Okay. Now, I hope this is going to clarify for you the lesson that is talking about the rays and the lines. Now, what we have is the last lesson that will talk about adding and subtracting angles. So the last lesson we have two things we need to know. We have to know when do we have to add angles and when do we have to subtract angles. Now, before we go through that, the thing that you need to know is this. You have first to read the angle in the question. So if we read this question here, the question says, what is the measure of angle BAD? Now, first we go to the letter B. This is B. Then we go to A. Then we go to D. Okay, so what I want to find BAD. So I'm talking about this angle. This angle, if I want to find it, it means that I'm going to have to add this angle and this angle because I want to know the total. I want to know the whole, the bigger angle. Okay, so I'm going to add 75 plus 34, which is going to be 109. Okay, now I hope it's clear for you. Now for the second one, if you can see, what is the measure of ABC? Now let's read ABC. ABC. He did not say that he wants ABD, the full angle, the big angle. He wants the small angle. It's kind of know, I want to know what's left. Okay, so in this case, as you can see, ABD is 150. So the bigger one, the biggest one is 150. And the other one is 53. So if I want to find the small one, I'm going to do minus. I'm going to do minus 150 minus 53, which is 150 minus 53, which is going to be 97 degrees. Okay. I hope this is something that will help you to understand the lessons. If you are able to understand from this video, whatever I said, you will be able to be ready for the lessons. All I can say for you is to practice as much as you can. Okay, so by now we have finished all the lessons for the assessment. I hope that you're going to be able to study better and just let me know, message me if you have any questions or anything, and I will surely try my best to help you and support you. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best.